Hey, good night, everybody. How y'all doing? Once again, this is your boy Rob Thomas Jr., and this is the real news behind the news. Again, today is Friday, June 6th, June 4th, 2021. And we apologize for the earlier show. We had to cut it short because this phone, what happens, this is a cheaper phone, and when I put it on, tethering to the computer to use it as Wi-Fi and also use StreamYard on a separate app, it burns the battery down real fast. So I got the phone charged up to about 80%. And if it does not overheat, then we'll be good for a few minutes. So as y'all come in, man, please hit the like button, share button. If you like what we're doing, please just share the videos. You know, try to get as many people to follow this channel as possible because now we are able to get our channel monetized, which is a good thing. Although we got to get a certain amount of hours viewed, so many views, we get the channel monetized. So it'll pay for itself just by doing a video. But really, you got to have 10, 50, at least 20,000 followers. And, you know, out of all your videos, you got to probably have at least a 500,000 views just to get a $50, $60 check from YouTube. But hey, that $50, $60 check from YouTube would be something on the Wi-Fi. So again, y'all hit the like button, hit the share button. We're going to go back and start off where we left off last show. HSS had made a good comment. And please, you all leave your comments, join the show, man. That what makes it a lot more interesting, especially if you disagree with me. Now, I promise I've become a lot more mellow and humble over the last few months. I ain't gonna go off and do a lot of cussing. If you happen to make a comment that in disagreement, let's just keep it respectful. I promise I'll keep it respectful. But leave your comments. I mean, as we go on through the show, because again, the comments really help make the show. Because I know that this is a very smart audience, and you all have questions or you know statements about things that I might not even be aware of. But what I try to do is not only tell you what's going on here locally in Shreveport, statewide in Louisiana, across the country of the United States, and all around the world, because I do believe the world is a global community. And especially for us in America, as black people in America, rather, we need to understand what's going on in a lot of these third world countries, what our government is doing in these third world countries, because they're implementing the same policies here in our neighborhood, whether you can grasp hold to that or not. You know, the policing, you know what I'm saying, the perpetual systemic racism and poverty. So it is very important to know what's going on in Syria, in Palestine, in Sri Lanka, in Beijing, in Taiwan. It's important to know what's going on because this it's a system of imperialism, a colonialist mentality by the United States. Even here inside our own country, whether you black, white, or whatever, the United States is basically a colonizing, colonialist type imperialistic government, meaning that they're trying to take over the world. And really, the last bastion of the policies that they implement overseas is right here. They practice overseas in a lot of those third world countries, the policies that they implement here. So again, with that being said, please leave comments. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I gotta do this first. I always gotta put the cash app up there just in case y'all want to support this channel. Because we can't wait for YouTube to do it for us. All right, we're gonna finish up with the article we was talking about at first before I shut the last show down, where your government, as part of the stimulus package that was brought forth, the CARES Act that was brought forth last year, signed in passed through Senate and through the House, signed by Donald Trump. There was legislation inside that the stimulus package stating that the United States government has to make known to the public what it knows about extraterrestrial craft or unidentified aerial phenomena. This is the new word for UFOs. And Donald Trump made sure that that legislation was in there because there's two schools of thought. You can look at one school where they would be trying to push funding for the Space Force. Keep in mind, under Donald Trump, you got a fifth branch of the military. You got the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, Marine. Now you got the Space Force. So they could be playing a propaganda mind game, a psychological operation to generate funds for the Space Force by openly now talking about all these years. Now they all of a sudden they're going to talk about things that might be from outer space. So they could be using this as a propaganda ploy, again, a psychological operation to get us all curious. Is there something out there in space which will make us want to just throw tax money at the government's feet for this new branch of the military, the Space Force? Or the other school of thought is there's actually something out there that we can't explain. I'm of both opinions because it's a duality, it's a give or take type thing. They are using this as a ploy to eventually hit you up as a taxpayer for funding for the Space Force. But at the same time, they're not confirming or denying in this latest report that they released that they know for a fact this is not alien life. Basically, they're saying they don't think it was alien. They think it was high-tech technology. I mean, I'm talking about cutting-edge technology from a foreign country. The only other foreign countries that can even think about producing some shit like this would be China or Russia. Because believe it or not, both of those countries are outpacing us as far as military technology. Now, they're not saying whether it is or isn't aliens, but the whole ploy that the Defense Department and all these people are going to try to use this issue for, because y'all notice it's becoming something of a popular topic to talk about now in the news, in mainstream media. Although the mainstream media are going to use it as a tabloid type situation to get ratings. This is a serious issue because, again, even if the Americans are not forthcoming with all the information, you got countries like Iran, Russia, other places. So you got American companies like United Airlines. Remember just a couple of months back, United Airlines, one of the pilots came out and it got out publicly and where to the point where even United Airlines had to admit that their pilots have been encountering vehicles, flying vehicles that defied the laws of physics in a lot of sense, that performed maneuvers that cannot be duplicated by anything that's known to man right now. Got propulsion systems that would allow these vehicles to travel between space, Earth, and the ocean in one vehicle. I guess you could call it an intertype stellar or intersphere type vehicle where it can fly in our atmosphere, it can fly in space, and also go in the water without, just as it is. So that's going to be very interesting over the next few weeks. We've been talking about that a lot here at the Real News Behind News. It makes for interesting religious discussion, if nothing else. So guess what? Let's see if you all got any comments. Y'all leave your comments as you hear. Because guess what? Do you all realize that? Hold on, y'all. Let me cut the fan on. It's hot in here. The air conditioner that went out. Give me 1 second. Apologize for that. Kind of hot in here. But think about this. If it was actually confirmed right now that there are extraterrestrial beings visiting and conducting operations on Earth, and it was made publicly, do you all realize how drastically life as we knew it will change instantly? First thing that's going to go out the window is religion. Truth is, if there was actual, I'm talking about factual, worldwide proof that there are alien extraterrestrial beings visiting the earth, your whole concept of religion, no matter whether you're a Christian, Muslim, or Jew, will be wiped out instantly, because it will prove what people like myself, somebody who I guess you could say is of the belief of the Anunnaki or a multi-god type situation, it will prove us right and all these false prophets wrong. Because what people like myself have been believing and have always known is that your whole concept of God comes from extraterrestrial beings visiting the earth. No matter what your religious belief is, your God lives where? In heaven, which makes him an extraterrestrial being. According to organized religion, God himself never visited the earth, but he sent his sons down to the earth to create all this through the angels or whatever. Do you realize if angels are coming from heaven, they're coming from outer space, which makes them extraterrestrial beings. Just by that, people saying extraterrestrial beings is a stigma that will not allow most religious people to get over the fact that he's saying extraterrestrial, so he got to be an atheist. He can't believe in the God that I believe in. No, your whole concept of God, any religion that you're in, if your God lives in heaven, he's an extraterrestrial being, because he's not from terra firma. He's not from terra cotta, whatever the word is. I think it's terra firma, which is earth. He's not from here. Just like we call those folks that come from all around the world to our country aliens. Why do we call them that? Because they are not from here. So it's going to get real interesting over the next few weeks as we watch more and more information, because I think they have to June 6th or something like that to actually put forth the report that's demanded in the CARES Act of 2020. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see how they play it. So again, y'all, it's gonna be two mind frames, two frame of thought. Either they're trying to create a psychological operation to get us as taxpayers ready to donate money to the Space Force, the part of the defense budget. They're gonna ask for more money for the Space Force, or they just can't keep it a secret no more, and something is visiting the Earth. Speaking of donating money, I started talking about this earlier this week in a video, the last video I did, I think it was Wednesday night, about how around the world in most modern and sophisticated countries, do you all realize since the pandemic started last year, those countries have been giving their citizens anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 a month automatically. This is given to their citizens, no question asked, no debate in their parliament or a house or whatever form of government they didn't have to debate about it. They will have for the last year and a half, or just say the last year, a year and a half, giving their citizens on regular clockwork $1,000 to $2,000 a month in pandemic relief. Here in America, we have to beg those sons of bitches up there in Congress in Washington, D.C. for a $1,400 stimulus check. We have to beg them for them to give us a portion of our money back that we paid in taxes. Because again, first of all, keep this in mind. This is very important for where I'm going. Your government cannot do anything without your money. No matter what they try to propose, it has to come from the United States taxpayer. So you as a citizen of America should be highly offended and pissed off when here you are, a lot of us are still about to be kicked out, be homeless on the streets because the eviction moratorium is in the end. A lot of states, 25 states now, are saying that they're not going to apply for the extra money in unemployment benefits for their citizens. We got to go through hoops and and do all kinds of tricks just to get our politicians to give us $1,400 of money that every day you go to work, they take taxes out of your salary for. But your government right now is going to give one of the most brutal, repressive, apartheid, sadistic regimes in human history, $700 million just so they can buy more bombs. Believe it or not, your government is about to give Israel $700 million just to go buy more bombs so that they can use this shit on the Palestinians and use their military might as a threat to the rest of the Muslim nations in the Middle East. Excuse me. Israel is basically making a play for total supremacy in the Middle East. This is why that, as HSS mentioned earlier, that ship, that Iranian military ship, caught on fire and burned in the ocean. I think it was I forget what sea it was in. Anyway, yes, your government will tell you go screw yourself when we ask them for more stimulus money, more bailout for the American citizens, as opposed to American businesses who notice every time they make a stimulus package, the business is going to get the most. The corporations get everything first. Then it trickles down to us. Then we have to go through all kind of red tape and bureaucracy, bureaucratic. Well, that's the word I'm trying to get. Y'all forgive me, but I like to have proper English. We got to go through all kinds of bureaucratic hoops and, again, turn flips and do all these tricks just to get $1,400 of our money back. But they're about to give $700 million to Israel on top. Guess what? Of the $10 million that they give Israel every week. Israel gets almost $520 million a year. I mean, 50,000, 10 is, yeah, almost $520 million a year. Because on a weekly basis, we give Israel $10 million a week for weapons research and the military tactics research. And the payoff for us is that our police departments, our sheriff departments, our military is able to go to Israel once a year and learn the latest in crowd suppression tactics. When I say that, or not crowd suppression tactics, submission, subduing suspects. Now, keep in mind how important that is, because again, the technique that they used to murder George Floyd, they learned it from the Israeli Defense Department, who got money from our government, which means our government got money out of our pockets and paid them to learn how to brutally detain a suspect as brutally as possible to detain a suspect, how to inflict as much serious injury on a crowd of innocent protesters without resulting in death. But in most cases, if it results in death, they don't worry about it, because just like the Israelis, they never be held accountable for it. So I don't you think that's awful crazy that you and I can't even get $1,600 a month of our taxes, hard-earned tax money during this time of uncertainty? Is the pandemic going to resurge again? There's an article. Let me pull this article up. There's one lady who had AIDS, and while she was in the hospital, matter of fact, this is a story. I'm going to read this story to y'all. This lady had AIDS, and they're talking about now how AIDS and COVID can come together, because you got to think about it. Those little spikes that they be showing you on the COVID virus, those same spikes you have on the HIV virus. Yeah, they're remarkably the same, because there are studies that show that COVID has a portion of the HIV DNA inside of it. That's why it's such a respiratory. Most people that die from HIV, guess what? They don't die from AIDS. They die from respiratory illness and shit like pneumonia and stuff like that. Hey, let me read this. Let me find this. Hold on. TikTok. Louis vandalism. She can go to this man. She can read it update. Global attack about 10-star arrested. Y'all can say, I want to read this. Reports do not confirm or rule out UFOs and unexplained events. That's the earlier story we were talking about. The classified material still is being withheld from public view. The Pentagon is covering up a hypersonic drone test. Y'all heard about these drones that they got now? They're chasing soldiers down, killing these motherfuckers. They have some drones here in America that outran the police the other day. I gotta start doing these shows every goddamn day, man. So I can really keep y'all informed. China military uses AI to track rapidly increasing UFOs. So if China is tracking them, America is tracking them, what other country on the face of the planet can be producing this type of technology outside Russia, maybe Israel? Those are the four top technologically advanced countries. So if all these countries are trying to figure out what it is, what country then is so far ahead of the rest of the world that they got shit we thinking is aliens? Anyway, let me say, I'm hungry, man. Hold on. I can't find it. Give me a second. All right, here it is coming down here. Okay, HIV positive patient had 216 days. Virus mutated in her 32 times. I will read that. I'm going to copy the link, put it in the comment section, and let you all check it out. This is from the coronavirus pandemic. They actually got a whole website now, a new site. But I'm going to just copy that and put it in the comment section, and you all can go read that. But these viruses, man, I believe are nothing more than an attempt at biological warfare that may have backfired, whether it was released intentionally, accidentally, or whatever. Over the last week or so, and again, I apologize for not bringing you all this, but it's something you can go back and research. All the countries right now, since the pandemic is pretty much leveling out in a lot of your industrialized countries, everybody's looking for where we can place the blame. Even a lot of people in America are being told to look, around the world, and then a lot of people in America that really do the research are looking at Fort Detrick. I think it's on the East Coast, but it's a military base that conducts a lot of biological research. Fort Detrick. Now, if you even want to go back to the lab in Wuhan, China, and say it started from there, who sponsors the lab in Wuhan, China? Meaning, who pays for all the research and dictates what research is being done there? The United States government. Believe it or not, even though we hate China and all that, that laboratory in Wuhan, China is funded by the United States government. All the weapons research, all the biological research in that laboratory that they're saying is the center point for the pandemic start, the originating point, the point of origin for the pandemic virus is in Wuhan, China. So either way it goes, the United States has something to do with it. Now, I'm of the opinion, remember back, I think it was 2019, late part of 2019, they were having a surge of people. It's going to be hard for you to remember, but a smart mind going to catch on. When they were talking about vaping, you had a lot of people dying up there on the East Coast in that area where Fort Detrick is, and they put it off on vaping. Y'all remember that? Every day was coming up, some other teenager was dying as a result of vaping and how it putting crystals and all that in your lungs and stuff like that. People such as myself believe that was the start of the motherfucking pandemic. They put it off on vaping, but notice now, you don't hear nothing else about them vaping deaths. Yeah, they put it off on vaping when it was really the virus, because even the French, everybody around the world say this shit started way back in 2019. Early part of 2019, being COVID-19. That's where you get the whole term, because it was a coronavirus, but it was such a unique virus that they started calling it COVID virus. And 19 is for the year that they first recorded, the first narrowed it down and labeled it as the COVID-19 virus. You gotta go back and look at Fort Detrick and understand the weapons research, the biological research that goes on in that military base. That's where the COVID virus started, y'all. But they're gonna have you looking all over the rest of the world, China, Russia, Iran, places that we like to call enemy, are really speaking truth. But you'll never hear that here in America in the mainstream media, because again, we like to think in America we're the most intelligent people on earth, we're the most sophisticated and most informed, when in reality we are the least informed people, damn near going toward the bottom of all the industrialized countries as far as being the most intelligent people, because we are being censored. Everything that we hear and see here in America, be it social media, television, radio, or whatever, we are being censored. We are being given one narrative. This is why when you look at your mainstream media every night, if you was to record your mainstream media, just say your primetime media show from every television station that has like a 5 o'clock, a 6 o'clock news, or a 7 o'clock news, every channel that has a worldwide audience primetime newscast, they're going to have the same script on every major story. Literally, word for word. You want to know how I know this? I used to work at a television station. Every day, every morning, 4 or 5:30 in the morning, when all the major big boys are getting ready for that 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, depending on what time zone you're in, that first morning newscast, like Good Morning America and all that shit, there's a script that comes down, and your anchors are fed this script, and this is the narrative that you have to go by. A lot of y'all, nobody sees in the background on CNN and a lot of these major news outlets, whereas when they're talking about certain military type articles, something that happening militarily across the seas, or even here around, no matter where it's in the world, like y'all don't see that they have generals, motherfucking people sitting in that newsroom, right off camera, making sure that when it comes to that story, you better stay on fucking script. Repeat it exactly like we say. Do not do no investigative journalism or none of that. Say exactly what we told you to say. And you can tell those stories because every news station has the same script, word for word. You can flip back through through your channel and watch them. They're all going to be saying the exact same script. Now they differ on script when it comes to their little tabloid things, their health and sciences, their living, and all those other segments of the news. But when it comes down to the top headline, you're being spoon fed what they want you to hear. This is why I do what I do at the Real News Behind the News. I don't have all the answers. I just ask a lot of questions because I'd be damned if I just let somebody tell me something, whether it be from the news or it be just a nigga up the street that tell me, man, it's a fire around the corner. I'm the kind of Negro, I'm saying, for real. And until I can walk close enough to that corner where I can see the smoke, I'm not going to believe what I'm told. Once I see the smoke, you know, my mind going, what caused that fire now? You know what I'm saying? This was a homely building, so maybe it was a homeless person trying to stay warm. Or, you know what I'm saying? This was a white dude on that building who just put a little money off into it and all of a sudden it caught fire. See, I'm that kind of person that I always ask questions. And that's what I do with this channel. Try to get you to ask questions. Main question again we should ask is why is Israel going to get $700 billion, $700 million from our government so that they can make more weapons for themselves, buy and make more weapons for themselves to continue to use on the Palestinians and use those weapons as a threat to all the countries that's around her in the Middle East. Hell of a thing. But anyway, y'all, I see that this show is doing good for, well, we got 4 people watching. Nobody commenting. So I'm going to go ahead and end this show and try to do it a little bit earlier tomorrow. I might do 2 or 3 tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be one of them days that it looks like it's going to rain. I'll probably just spend the whole day here because I can't go paint the house. Oh, fucking again. I'll probably just sit the whole day here and just do shows. Get these numbers up for nothing else. At least when we start, now that we're able to be monetized, we might get that little 10, 15 cent per show. So if I do 1,000 shows at 10 cents a show, that's how I go. Anyway, we're going to end this. Leave your comments when you come in. We started this 32 minutes ago. We have no comments as of yet. So I noticed we had quite a few people to come in and view, see what we was doing. I understand it's Friday night, 11 o'clock. A lot of people trying to get some rest. A lot of people at the club. So we're going to just take this show, man. We'll come back tomorrow, keep the same frame of mind, same topic. And we'll go into a lot of more stuff that we think that you all should be interested in. So until then, man, I hope y'all have a wonderful night, wonderful, blessed night. Please share these videos. Also, please, if you like what we do on this channel, man, the Cash App is up there. And if you look down there at the bottom, you got a Cash App and you got PayPal. We can definitely use all the support, whether it be prayers, comments, donation support. Financial support. So until y'all see us tomorrow, man, y'all be blessed. Can't burn up